MetalmanX here. Have you ever built something and it felt like a breath of fresh air and a new take on your favorite hobby? And come with a 3-foot long dragon? Yeah, Motor Nuclear did it. Let's take a look at the Aobing. And this review is brought to you by our good friends over at Gundam Central. Make sure to check them out. The link is in the description. They're my go-to spot for anything independent release and third party. Alright, so let's dive into the Aobing. So Motor Nuclear did an amazing job with this kit, guys. So when I built this, I was so surprised at how there were essentially not a single fitting issue on this kit. It just went together flawlessly and looks fantastic. So just an overall first impressions, this thing is going to stand out on your shelf. It is going to look really, really good. Lots of opportunities for detailing, and there are no decals on this kit whatsoever, which honestly for me is a breath of fresh air. I know that water slide decals can really add to a kit and they're meant to be put on, but there's something about when you build a kit and you don't have to put any really additional details outside of panel lining on it, and it looks so good. There's something about that just speaks to me. I am completely sold on Motor Nuclear, and I'm going to be doing some more Motor Nuclear reviews in the future. So, moving back on to the Aobing. Now, careful if your fingers aren't callous or whatever. This is a pointy boy. You can stab yourself pretty easily on this guy. It definitely fits the whole dragon motif. But it is a fantastic looking kit. So, taking a look at the head, we do have some good articulation here without it popping off. So you can do a lot of good poses with the head on there, and it looks so good. The arms and shoulders, great articulation here. You have a kind of an in and out joint here, so you can get lots of movement out of that. Let me pop that in. And you get lots of movement, independent shoulder movement, all that jazz. The shoulders are a little bit tight, but that's okay. You're going to be able to get whatever pose you want out of this. You got some movement at the elbows and a double jointed at the elbow. So, also some wrist articulation right there. So, good articulation at the waist, nothing popping off, which is a blessing with how many different parts there are that go into this. There were so many runners. That will actually be my only complaint about this kit is the runners. Not that they were bad, not that, plastic quality is great. It's just the fact that instead of using a lot of different letters, there were something like 11 or something A runners, like 10 or 13 F runners. Like it got a little confusing sometimes when you were building. So, keep that in mind. That's about the only complaint I have about the build process for this kit in general. So, good articulation at the waist. You got hip skirts, move around just fine, front and back, so we don't have anything static on here. We do have some metal parts built in throughout here. It's not a full metal frame, but it has metal parts in the spots that really count. So that was actually pretty cool. Now this is the agent version of this, and it looks just so good. So going on to the legs, we have good articulation at the knee with a sliding gimmick. right there. Just pops in place. A good side to side with the foot and some articulation there. You know, I think that we also have some articulation here as well. It kind of moves a little bit. Nothing really impressive there, but man, just look at the details. You know, for a kit that really isn't all that expensive, this thing is just phenomenal. Like I said, I am now fully sold on Motor Nuclear. They have made something really awesome, and it is an eye catcher. When I showed the Glamour Shots, you'll see just how good this kit looks, especially when paired with the dragon. Okay, so this is a kit all into itself, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. The use of different colored clear pieces here almost give it like a jeweled look. I love how absolutely clear some of these green pieces are. Being able to see the details in the interior there is just such an amazing touch to this kit. All these little details that pop through and layering that Motor Nuclear did really just drives this one home. I think this is a fantastic kit from start to finish. So you do have a few options in appearance. Not that many, but you do have options. So the backpack right here, and this is an actual backpack. You can change this out. And it just pops right in. No issues. Pops right in. No issues whatsoever on this. You have some articulation and moving parts right here. And the little thruster. So if you want to do kind of a space mode, you can. If you're into LEDs and stuff like that, or not LEDs. If you're into using black lights in your displays, one thing I do like is the orange plastic here. It is bright. Okay, it reflects really well. So if you're into that, definitely use that black light for that. So these side pieces, I'm trying not to stab myself, also pop off. And you can pop these on and have parts of the dragon running through it. So options, and options are always fantastic. That's not what I'm going to do with my display, but that's, you know, an option. So this one pops right off just like the other. I prefer the more slim version. I just really love how this looks. All right, so going on to some of the accessories and other gimmicks here. So yeah, just fantastic articulation. You're going to get whatever pose you want out of this kit. So right here, we do have an opening gimmick, a little slide, and you'll see a little 3mm peg, and that uses this adapter piece. This little adapter piece that plugs into the shoulder, and you can actually take the head of the dragon and pop it on. So you can have kind of this like hybrid of the dragon. The dragon head can be used in lots of different ways. So popping that back out. Let's say instead you wanted to have a dragon hand. Why not? Why not have a dragon hand? So you have an adapter piece right here. Like so. And now you have a dragon for a hand. I kind of like this. I'm a big Mega Man fan, so it kind of reminds me of the Buster. So I really like that. Moving on to some other accessories. You do get a few weapons with this kit. And one complaint, I do wish that there were two of these pieces right here, because it would have looked really good if you were able to do both, but I don't know, whatever. So you get this piece right here, which is able to hold the blade. So there are multiple configurations for this. You can use it as a sword, which you would use this blade right here, and they just slide in like that. Or use it as a staff. And one big thing here is they were really careful about their placement of gates. So you don't have any really big nasty like seams or really big nasty nub marks on the blade of your weapon. It is clean. Really, there aren't big gate marks on anything. There were a couple of small gate marks on some of the gold pieces, but only on the accessories. You don't see any gate marks on anything on the kit, the main body of the kit. So we also get this really neat, let's get the camera, really neat trident weapon, which looks really neat. I love the painted gold here on this kit. They did a really good job on this. Multiple hands, including holding hands. Now, so this has no problem holding its weapons at all. You do not have to worry about that. You're going to have a really great experience with this kit. So now moving on to the dragon. So the dragon is a kit all to itself. Over half the runners went to the dragon. And this thing is, a beast. We have metal parts in some on the legs here. This dragon is actually 92 centimeters long, which means it's right around just a little over 3 feet long. And it is fully articulated. Oops. It is a little... I had it in a kind of a rounded position. Now, you do have a couple of options. So this thing is really, really, really long. You do have a couple of options with how you want to build this dragon. So you have the option of doing these rounded double ball joint parts. The kit, or these more traditional, just static up and down parts. The biggest, I chose to use these for it, and that's because I wanted a lot more articulation on mine. You're going to get the most articulation on using these, but there's a drawback in that you will actually end up losing some of the strength. These aren't as strong as these. I would definitely suggest this one for the head. I might actually switch that out so that I have a little bit more strength on the head. Because I know some people have said the head is super loose. And yeah, if you're using this one, your head is going to be loose. This one, not so much. So you have drawbacks either way, but I really like this for the main body. It says to pick one or the other. I don't see why we can't mix and match. So if you want, mix and match them. So going on to the dragon's head, to the dragon head here, the dragon was the only place I really kind of struggled with this kit, because it is, for some reason, the only place where I see a lot more gate issues and things like that. But for the most part, you're not going to have trouble out of it. You do have some accessories for the dragon. You have these cool orange electricity things, lightning bolts, and you do have a little piece right here that's meant to shoot fire. So for the most part, the orange pieces had no problem with cleanup. I did have some trouble on these pieces where they were attached. It was a bit of a pain to get out and a lot of cleanup on those. But, these lightning bolt things, not any problem with the cleanup. So, like I had said before, these are pretty UV reactive, and it's just these orange pieces that are very UV reactive. So I think that does look pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of using black lights in my builds, like just having a black light on my shelf. But I think this one does a really good job of just highlighting a few pieces. So it's not just random things lighting up. Overall, the articulation is pretty good in the dragon. This is a bit loose just because of the way that it is I use the ball joints. We actually got to take it, pop it apart here for a second. So we do have really good articulation here on the arms of the dragon. You have kind of like a high grade style articulation, which, considering this is like secondary to the main kit, it is really awesome. We have some metal parts in the legs here and some individual articulation on the toes. The biggest complaint I have about the dragon as opposed to the main kit is that the dragon's pieces were a little bit harder to panel line. They were a lot shallower than the main piece. So I actually spent a lot of time going in to do the details of this and had to go back a couple of times. And you can probably see some areas that I messed up while panel lining this. But overall, I think this thing is just amazing. As far as an overall grade for the Aobing, I am going to give it a solid, you know what, I'm going to give it an A+. Go buy this kit. Just, I'll take the hit. Go turn off the video and go buy this kit, because it is a fantastic build from start to finish. No fitting issues, no problems holding a weapon. It can do poses. It comes with a giant dragon. Okay? A 3-foot dragon comes with this kit. If you are any self-respecting mecha fan, go out and buy this kit, because it will really just blow your mind. I look forward to doing more motor nuclear kits in the future. I am absolutely in love with this kit, and it is going to be on my shelf in a place of honor. So that will do it for the review. Go buy this kit because it is a joy to build. So we'll see you next time here on MetalmanX Builds, and yeah, go buy this kit. Go. I don't know why you're still here. Go buy the kit. Okay? Check out more reviews, but also buy the kit.